Hello and welcome to another episode of Novice Kibitzing. I'm International Novice, and today we're looking at a game between Sam Shankland, who is one of the um, top American GMs, and he's playing against someone named SniperNoSniping. I'm not sure who that is, but that's definitely a Dora the Explorer reference. Yeah, to be honest, I'm probably not going to know what's going on. As you can see, they've had two games already, and the last one was pretty crazy. I didn't quite understand everything that was going on, but um, it was definitely interesting. So what do we have here? White obviously has a big space advantage. We can see that he's going for the sacrifice, which actually looks pretty correct. And yeah, let's see how this continues. I imagine this is going to happen sooner rather than later. Um, I don't think black is going to be able to survive this. Okay, so white wins. Okay, so we're starting off here. What's happening? Okay, black opting to go with the fianchetto setup here, queenside fianchetto. Um, wow, what happened there? Dropping a piece, dropping the knight there. Played a little bit too quickly. So d4, c5. That's a move I usually like to play. Okay, this system, I'm not sure what the name of it is, but it looks kind of like a French, but not quite. I mean, with this these D and E pawns here. Okay. Strange. The sound for the movements, the sound isn't like always playing. It's just occasional for some reason. Maybe just take the bishop, or is this too simple? Okay, questioning this bishop. Does white want to give up the bishop? I don't think that he does. So I imagine we'll see some type of movement here. It seems on this diagonal it's putting a lot of pressure, but perhaps if it's on this diagonal we can see some pressure later on the black king as well, on the f7 pawn instead of h7. So it'll be interesting to see what white wants to do here. Yeah, someone's saying that taking here, followed by this, looks like a strong attack. Um, I'd agree. Oh, he's going for it right away. Well, knight has to take, because if king takes, I think, whoops. Oh, I think, sorry. Can't. Well, what's happening here? What is happening here? So this rook is hit. Yeah, black's king is in trouble here. Big trouble. This has to be coming very soon. Yeah, this doesn't do anything. Get the queen in. So something along these lines. I mean, it looks... I'd be surprised if black survives this. So if king takes, white has this resource here, and it looks very dangerous. Okay, well. Yeah, I mean, black's king is just too defenseless here. Okay, and black resigns. So if black takes, queen takes, this king is just too out in the open. The rooks are going to get in. Okay, so Shankland attempting to make a comeback here. This bishop seems misplaced. Or awkwardly placed, rather. Okay, so we already see some pressure here. On this pawn, there is a pin here. White sidestepping the pin. I think black may just take. Well, not actually, no, because obviously there's a counter pin here. But black wants to take, I should say, and give white this isolated pawn. So perhaps the queen will sidestep this pin as well. And we'll have two sidesteps happening. Wow. And notice this pawn can't take the c pawn because then this knight would hang. Okay, so now we have the knight moving out of the way. Are there any tactics here? Okay, so black just says I'll just take the pawn here. Okay, so black. Oh, he didn't win the pawn. I was gonna say he managed to win himself a pawn here, but no, it's even material. But now black's pawn structure is compromised. And also they're on the same side of the board. So I think I prefer white here. That being said, if black can achieve this queen trade, it'll likely be a draw. They still have the same amount of time on the clock, so relatively equal. White looking to put a little bit of pressure on this pawn here. Yes, and now I think white is going to need to create some space for his king somewhere here. This is a nice little move here. Notice the queen is covering. And now create some space. Or just take a pawn. But, yeah, either way, pawn can be taken. Okay, now creating space. That's the important point. And, yeah, maybe even this. No, okay. Ah, and this blocks any check on the dark squares here. Notice this rook is kind of defending any checks from this angle. Okay, defending the rook, so you're freeing up the queen to take this pawn. If that move wasn't played, then just queen takes and then check and you're done. So Okay. I didn't see the finish there, but... Ah, it's hitting this rook twice with check. Okay. So check, and now we can just pick this pawn up. I mean, pick the rook up, sorry. So this is a line that I like to play, but I don't know the theory, the Benoni. So lots of pressure starting off here. So white can either defend this way. Really? Black can't take this? Wow. I'm not sure why black can't take that there. Oh no. Yeah, black needs the castle. That pin was a little bit too much. So yeah, black can just take here actually. Take. Okay. There's really no good way to remove this knight at the moment. This knight is very powerful. The only minor piece on the board that could contest this is this knight. So I wouldn't even be surprised if white just grabs this. At some point. Maybe like queen a4. Yeah, queen a4 looks pretty good. Take, queen takes, and then maybe the queen gets in here, and it's a lot of pressure here. Well, this is a constant idea. Okay, this... How does white make progress here? I'm not too sure. Queen c2. So, when analyzing this position, I think it's safe to say that white is better here, or at least more comfortable. His pieces have better coordination. Notice that the black pieces are kind of just sitting here in a defensive position. His knight looks ridiculous. But that doesn't mean that white's winning. I'm not sure. Okay, so now white is trying to activate his final piece here. Okay, and now he's getting in. Now he has this passed pawn here. Black obviously threatening this mate. So white needs to respond to that somehow. The only move I really see is okay. That was the other move I saw. Okay, so black trying to get his knight back into the action, probably to e5. Oh no, hitting this twice. This is a tough one. White wanting to trade queens and also repair his pawn structure if black decides to facilitate that trade. Very nice. Kind of just tucking this bishop in and also defending this pawn laterally. But it looks like it drops anyway. Yeah, I mean white is probably fighting for a draw here. Actually, this queen check at the right time could lead to white winning. This pawn may be fast. Never mind. It's over. Winning that pawn basically seals the deal for black. What is this? This is like a yeah, I'm really not sure what this is. But speaking of which, the YouTube video series, sorry, the YouTube channel, what is that called? The one that has a lot of they've done a lot of Gingy Indian videos. I can't remember the name right now. This is bugging me now. What is this called? OnlineChessLessons.net. Okay, there we go. So yeah, OnlineChessLessons.net. They actually have a series called, I think it's called The Sniper, where you start off with fianchettoing the bishop. So maybe that's where the name comes from. Okay, so back to the game. This bishop looks a little bit terrible. So it has to figure out where he wants to go. Yes, and now the rooks are doubled, so even if white facilitates this trade, rook just comes down and is putting a lot of pressure on white here. It's amazing that the material's even out after all that. So, is there any way to defend this pawn other than bishop d1? Oh, interesting move. I don't know about that though. Now these pawns are just really weak. Here seems to be, oh, not there. Yeah. So I mean it's This is tough for white. This is tough for white. It's likely a draw, but it's tough for white because look at this pawn just constantly under attack. Okay, well, I mean, you can do this, but then just rook blocks, I guess. Doesn't look too fun. So I think white needs to actually get his rook behind some of these pawns. His rook needs to be somewhere behind them. In front is not good. Yeah, I think... Okay. And now this will do it. Yeah. That's resignable. Okay. White disagreeing that it's resignable. But yeah, it is. This is just completely lost. Actually, I mean, why not just bring this other pawn down? White finally did get this rook behind the pawn, though. That's always good. But is there any way to stop this pawn? I don't think so. Yeah, white can resign. I mean, you got this pawn coming. You got this pawn potentially queening. It's just too much. Okay, this is the Scotch, I believe. But I have no idea what the theory is here. But it looks like there's just constant pressure on this b2 right now. This bishop moves, bishop takes. So perhaps we'll see a knight develop. Oh, hitting the queen with tempo, important. Okay. Hitting the queen with tempo again. Where's this queen going? I'm not sure what's happening here. I mean, yes, there's a check, but yeah, just sidestep, I guess, and then queen takes. Yeah. Whoa. White won because I don't know. What happened there? I'm not sure. At any rate, let's jump back into their game now. I mean, I would have taken that pawn, I think, if I were black in that last game. Ah, so black opting for a pawn sacrifice here. Very interesting. Is white crazy enough to take this pawn? That looks a little bit too much. Okay, so it's hard to make a move here for white, actually. Ugh, this looks dangerous. This looks dangerous. I mean, white's king, the squares around white's king look very questionable. Ugh. Now white's losing all kinds of tempo. Not so sure. I mean, maybe just this. Although that gives the pawn back. It's hard to say. Okay, so black decides to go for this a5 idea. Um, hmm. Okay. If this knight were just off the board somehow, if white got that check in, sorry, if black got somehow got a check in over here, then it would just be mate. So notice his pressure. Oh, I guess king could escape. Not quite mate. Lots of pressure. It seems like taking this pawn would be good because it kind of just leaves black with less coverage around his king. So now we're just putting more and more pressure. I thought something like this would be interesting, but perhaps not. Oh, get out of the queen trade first. So yes, this is probably on the cards. So maybe in order to avoid that, oof. Okay, lots of pressure here. I like this move. Okay, so we're seeing this knight f4. Oh, is there just nothing to do there? Hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't see a finish, but it looked pretty rough. I'm not so sure about this. Yeah. This seems this seems dubious. Yeah. This may be theory though. It looks definitely looks dangerous for black. I'll just say that. So I mean, this bishop comes, this comes, yeah, everything is coming just very aggressively. Apparently black anticipating some problems here on f8, so he moves to g8. I think I like this type of move, but that's just with the idea of controlling this knight. I guess this knight actually does that anyway. So now white is wanting to pick up the piece here. Looks like white is in trouble. Yeah, white is in trouble there. Okay, he's starting with the fianchettos here. Sniping type systems. But this just looks like it might transpose into some type of English. I don't even know if this classifies as an English anymore. Okay, pressure being put on b7 here. Then immediate capture. Now we have these two weakened pawns. We can also look to see stuff like rook c1 to kind of put pressure on this file. I mean, this is an option. I don't know if it's the best. White could also just take, then take this. Really? I don't know if this is so great for black. I don't know if this is so great. Hitting this rook. A4. Basically saying, get out of here. I want to grab this pawn. Okay, he doesn't have to grab this pawn right away though. Maybe castles. Yes. It's important to get your king safe first because I mean these pawns are going to be a weakness for a long time. Now, if possible, I'd imagine that black actually wants to trade these off for pawns, but we can see that white isn't letting that happen. He's just putting more and more pressure on the position. So I imagine we're going to see a doubling and then just a smash through here. And this pawn push doesn't seem like it's something that white has to worry about. I believe this is a threat here. Is it not? Or wow. I thought taking this was a clear threat. Notice this pawn is still defended twice. If it weren't, white would be in trouble right now. Oh, this actually may be very logical here. Just sacrificing a bunch of pieces to get in. And I don't know that white has an answer to this. Just dropping. No, not dropping. Okay. Lateral defense here. Lots of pressure by black. Even though black is down material here. Yeah, that's the best way to handle this is to retreat and hope that your pieces can hold the defense here. Yeah, I think white is okay here. I think he's okay. Yeah, even if white gives up his queen, he's okay here because look at this pressure. This is a threat. Yeah, he can just block here, and black is actually still needing to figure out some things. Yeah, I think black is losing here. Pretty sure. Okay, and black resigns, and I think I'll cover this to either first to 10 or if they stop before that, that'll just be the entire coverage. Okay. So we've got English type position. I like playing these. Okay. Knight here. Oh, knight back. Interesting. So we can look, I was just going to say we can look for this knight to reroute itself to one of these squares. Obviously not e4 right now, but d4 is on the cards, and also b3 to put pressure on this pawn. Black's still pretty flexible, or white's still pretty flexible right now, so. Sometimes we also see things like b3, although it looks like black's trying to crack open white's king side quite quickly here. Maybe pawn push. Pawn push looks a little scary, but still solid. So white having the option to jump into e5 with his knights here. Maybe even just grabbing is fine, because this bishop is potentially putting a lot of pressure on this king here. So yeah. Okay. So I like b4. Yeah, I don't know about this one, but maybe it's needed. I just don't like locking this rook in here. Like by going bishop e1, I just feel like this rook is not going to be in the game for a long time, if ever. Now this bishop can take. Okay, so what's happening here is... Wow. Now I don't know what's happening here. But what I was going to say is white is saying, you can go ahead and take this rook. It's not doing anything anyway. And he was saying, this bishop is stronger. So that's why he doesn't have any problem with giving this up, because it's useless. Okay, so I think... Is this a threat here? I don't know. So white resigns in this position. Very interesting. I'm not... Okay, SniperNoSniping says good games. And so it looks like they're going to be done here. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Novice Kibitzing, and I will catch you guys next time. Thank you. Bye-bye.